We are hitting it all today. Yes, the big three sports going on in the winter. We start with basketball. Malik Hall's injury. Tom Izzo speaks about his return in the next few weeks. And then, yes, we got a big ol' football notebook to get to in the second segment. And then the third segment, for all you hockey heads out there, Brad LaPlante joins the show to break down those icy Spartans. Let's go.
Are Locked On Spartans, your daily podcast on the Michigan State Spartans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Spartan friends, Spartan family, Locked On Spartans listeners, thank you so much for kicking off your day with us here at the Locked On Spartans program. Yes, in the first segment, all basketball. Second segment, all football. And then in the third segment, all hockey. But luckily, not with just me. We have Brad LaPlante of Spartans Illustrated to help break down all things hockey. But hey, let's get into the show right here. Big news going on in Michigan State basketball world. You already know what I'm talking about. It is Malik Hall's foot. And what a saga it has been ever since he has come out of the game at Illinois with about 7 minutes to go after retweaking that foot. Now, that's the first bit of news. It was not a rolled ankle, as previously reported. It was that foot injury. And unfortunately, the same foot he re-injured, the foot that he missed 8 games rehabbing earlier this year. Tom Izzo spoke about that with Aubrey Dahlgren and then spoke to the media later this day and said 2 bits of information over those 2 meetings with the press. First and foremost, Malik Hall is out of the boot. Okay, yeah, he doesn't have the protective boot anymore, but more importantly, here we go. This is a tweet from Chris Solari, who's part of the press. That was at the Tom Izzo press conference, and he tweets, MSU coach Tom Izzo says Malik Hall's specialist thinks his foot is healing fine and may have just tweaked it. Adds that there may be, quote, light at the end of the tunnel after, quote, the door was locked a few days ago, and now it's open. Okay, Tom Izzo said something very similar after the game against Purdue that he was crushed. They couldn't win this for Malik Hall because the prognosis was not looking good whatsoever. So this has been a huge roller coaster. After the Illinois game, it was like, he's fine. He might just miss a game or 2. And then right before the Purdue game, we're hearing that a priest read him his final rites in the locker room, and they were just about to just say goodbye to Malik Hall altogether. And now, well, Tom Izzo said that it's not looking like this week, maybe not even 2 weeks, but possibly 3 weeks for Malik Hall to return to the team. All right, so let's take a look at what that means. We'll do the worst case scenario based on, Tom Izzo's assumption that it could be up to 3 weeks. And 3 weeks from today, that quote is February 7th. And yes, Michigan State has a game on February 7th. So after that, let's look at the next 3 weeks. Okay, that's 6 games that Malik Hall would be missing. 8, 7.5 total, the half against Illinois, the full game against Purdue. But the next 3 weeks have 6 games if you include that February 7th game. All right. So in those 6 games, you have 2 road games. All right. Indiana this weekend, then Purdue the following weekend, and then a neutral site game as well. We'll call that a road game. That one is against Rutgers at Madison Square Garden. And of course, then, well, you have 3 home games. You have Rutgers, Iowa, and Maryland. Now, in those 6 games, yes, it is a little dicey, and it's everything that we've talked about the Big Ten the last few weeks, that every game is winnable, but tough. And this is no different here in the next 6 games, potentially without Malik Hall. BartTorvik.com, hear us reference them all the time. They are the super analytic computer website. They simulate all these games and whatever. They're the smart people in the room. They have Michigan State just favored in 2 of those 6 games, and those games are against Iowa, all right, and then Maryland as well. Now, that's not to say that they think that Michigan State's going to get slaughtered in those other 4 games. Like this Thursday's game, Rutgers is a slight favorite per Bart Torvik, but just by 0.3 points. All right, that's nearly a coin flip. Also this Sunday, Indiana just a 3-point favorite in their home barn at Assembly Hall. So is it to assume that Michigan State goes 2-4 in the next 6 games? No, probably not. Although it will be hard to top that, as we know, because, well, again, the Big Ten is very, very competitive this year. Not good, but competitive. Now, let's say Michigan State does just win 2 of their next 6 games. What does that mean for the outlook of the season going far and beyond? Well, okay, it would put them at 14-10 at the end of this 3-week stretch. It would put them 6-7 in Big Ten play, so you can absolutely probably kiss the Big Ten title hopes goodbye. And more uncomfortably, it is backs against the wall time for Michigan State here. Bart Torvik has, look, if Michigan State wins every game they're expected to win and loses every game they're expected to lose, which of course won't happen, but follow me here for sake of conversation. If they win every game they're supposed to win, lose every game they're supposed to lose, Bart Torvik has them as one of the last 4 in for March Madness. Now, of course, talking to a computer is a lot different than talking to a human, and humans at the end of the day are who make this bracket. Joe Lunardi, before the before the Purdue game, had Michigan State as a 7 seed, a little more squarely in than the computers have, but nevertheless, could be another selection Sunday where we're starting to sweat things out, and that's not what we want. But here's some reason to believe that maybe this stretch of 6 games or 7 games, however you want to classify it, is going to be different than the 8-game stretch where Malik Hall missed earlier this season. And if you remember, in that 8-game stretch, MSU went 5-3, which is fine. It's okay on paper, but only 2 of those wins were against Power 5 teams. That win against Oregon, who was, starting their professors, they were coming off the bench late in the game. And then, hey, that Penn State road game, no snide remarks about that. That was a really good win, especially without Malik Hall. But yes, it could be a little different this time around. And we saw a lot of why on Monday, right? That team showed a lot of resolve. And yes, I know it could be nauseating talking about moral wins, especially at a program like Michigan State where you expect greatness. But the fact of the matter was they got down really bad, really early and fought their way back and could have won that game. I don't want to say should have won that game, but could have won that game. And I think a big reason for that is just how A.J. Hogart has been playing, which is way different than how he was playing in that 8-game stretch without Malik Hall. And not just play style. Yes, that has helped. He's been more smart with the ball, more aggressive at times, but also just his leadership as well. We referenced the sit-down conversation that he had with Tom Izzo all the time after that Notre Dame game when he got benched. He has emerged as a different player and a different leader as well. And that's something that Michigan State misses with Malik Hall. Izzo said as much, his calming presence on the court. So it's a little different now. Is it perfect? Is it an absolutely positively great substitution? No, but it's better. And also, hey, just for this upcoming game on Thursday against Rutgers, they have a similar stylistic makeup on offense that Purdue had. And what I mean by that is that they have a pretty good big man. And no, not a first-team All-American big man like Zach Edey, and not a guy that's 7'4", but hey, Cliff Amarui is still a physically imposing presence. And also, just like Purdue and Zach Edey being surrounded by guys that don't shoot the three-point ball that well, Rutgers doesn't shoot the three-point ball that well either. So hopefully you can get the same Michigan State defense versus Rutgers offense matchup that you got and almost worked in the Penn State game. So that's some light at the end of the tunnel. Really quick before switching to football, we did get an email based on yesterday's show with Carter Elliott, and this comes from Joe. He reached out to us at lockdownspartans@gmail.com, and he wrote, "Hey, just listened to your podcast with Carter and was surprised you didn't discuss the officiating. I'm used to getting screwed on the road, but we should not be getting screwed at the Breslin Center." And he also wrote down some examples, and my guess is that you know all of these examples as well. Like Zach Edey, well, he had no fouls on the game. Interesting. Maddie's 3rd and 4th fouls were ridiculous. Also, that hook and hold in the first half as well. A kicked ball that did not get called that led to a Purdue 3. Now, I will say, that looked inadvertent. It has to be deliberate for the kick ball to be called the other way, but I digress. A reviewed out of bounds call that, looked like it was off Edey. I would agree there, but all right, whatever. And right after getting screwed on that call, they call a foul on Tyson Walker for fighting through a screen. So why didn't we address that in the Purdue postgame show? 2 reasons. One, hey, when we talked with DK of SpartanHoops.com after the Illinois game, we talked about officiating for about a minute or 2 minutes, brought it up. We both said as much that, yeah, it wasn't great at Illinois, but also you really can't point to that being a reason for your loss. And every comment that we got was, oh, my God, blaming officiating. What are you guys doing? Or, oh, classic Sparty. Or, oh, the losing team always blames officiating. After very clearly stating that Now, officiating wasn't the reason MSU lost, so no one listens to an officiating argument anyway. You're just immediately painted as some sad, sore loser. And then also, reason number two, more importantly, officiating is just a disaster in the Big Ten overall. I am just so apathetic to officiating in the Big Ten that it doesn't even faze me anymore. Like the out-of-bounds call, I knew that was going to be Purdue ball. When they called Matty for the foul when Edie threw him to the ground, I didn't even budge on my couch. I was like, yeah, this is just what you come to expect. It's almost like turning on a Lions game back then and just knowing you're going to get let down. I watch Big Ten basketball every single night knowing that I'm going to see some clownery from the refs. So I don't know. It's just part of the game now. Just horrible officiating, whether you're the home team or the road team. Michigan State has not benefited from it the last two games. Who knows? They probably will benefit from it later on. Water's got to find its level eventually. So, no, I know that there are a lot of fans upset with the officiating, but what's the point of talking about it when you're just known as salty Sparty? So, whatever, man. On to the next one. And on to the next topic here in a hot segment. First, you need to talk your ear off about BetOnline. BetOnline.net is your number one source for your sports betting info, stats, news, and analysis. Get all the latest odds, trends, and action for every professional and amateur league out there. We also got divisional round playoffs coming up for NFL football, and BetOnline has the props, futures, and lines, all the good stuff that you need to get ready for Saturday and Sunday's action-packed NFL slate. And if you love sports podcasts, well, you can find those at BetOnline as well. We are always the fastest and easiest way to get in on all of your sports betting action. So what are you waiting for over there? Head to the website today. Use your mobile device. Learn more about the trends and action that is at BetOnline, where the game starts. And let's get into some football talk. That's right. A lot of this news broke a little bit ago, but it has been busy in East Lansing with basketball, with all the games, all the injuries, the previews, yada, yada, yada. Let's get into what we've missed on the football field the last few days. And first and foremost, this isn't sadly about a Spartan anymore. This is about a Cowboy, and we're talking about Eli Collins. That's right, the long-tenured running back at Michigan State entered the transfer portal. He found a new home down in Stillwater. Oklahoma State Cowboys, they are taking on Eli Collins, so great for him. I mean, there was some questions out there like, oh, man, does it maybe make you a little sad that he went to a Power 5 conference? Maybe Michigan State's missing out on a guy. This kind of really hurts to see. I don't see that at all. Like, I'm thrilled for this guy. And it means a few things. It means that, well, okay, Michigan State just might be a little more talented than they used to be when they saw all their transfers go to Group of 5 programs or borderline Division II programs. Now at least our transfers are going to higher places. So maybe Michigan State is growing stronger and stronger in their position rooms. And also, Eli Collins is the easiest guy to root for. You know, like I wouldn't have been sad if he got to Georgia or Alabama, for crying out loud. I want nothing but the best for this kid. He's been through a lot in East Lansing. So, yeah, I want to see him end his collegiate career on a high note. And, no, I don't know if he was, taken aback by Michigan State bringing on Nathan Carter from UConn or the Mangum brother down in South Florida. I don't know if he was put off by that, and that's why he bolted, or maybe Michigan State staff knew that Eli Collins was going to be out of here anyway, and that's why they brought in those two kids. But, hey, the only fact of the matter is that Eli Collins is down at Oklahoma State. He will be competing for starting playing time immediately. Their top running back, Dominic Richardson, he transferred this offseason to Baylor, and the two guys behind him, Ollie Gordon and Jaden Nixon, both freshmen. So, yes, you get an experienced running back in Eli Collins, and it's very clear that, hey, he wants a more defined role, some more reps perhaps, since Jalen Berger ended the year as strong as he did, since Nathan Carter is going to be competing for a lot of carries as well. I think he's going to find what he wants to in Stillwater, so good luck to him. Also, transfer coming in, Mason Arnold. That's right, we're talking long snappers, baby. We do it all here on Locked On Spartans. Mason Arnold from Ohio State. He will have 3 years of eligibility left at Michigan State. And a little bit about his career. He started 6 games last season, including the semifinal matchup against Georgia when their long-tenured starter, Bradley Robinson, was out with an injury. So he does come here with experience. Now, with that said, I still expect Hank Pepper to be the starting long snapper. However, Hank Pepper was out for a stretch of time this season, and we also found out the importance of having a good backup long snapper. Just look to that Michigan game. And in hindsight, look, it didn't matter. that the snaps were high, that Bryce Behringer had to make the catch of the game and got a little squirrely there with the snaps. It ended up not mattering in hindsight, but in the moment, okay, those botched snaps were like, oh, God, yep, that's it. Oh, okay, there goes all of our hope for any sort of a comeback right now. So, yeah, you get an experienced guy like Mason Arnold in the fold, whether it's him snapping or Hank Pepper snapping, two guys with experience. And, yeah, we can joke that, oh, it's just a backup lawn snapper. Okay, we learned the hard way that that's actually important from last season. Two little pieces of recruiting news for you. Sam Levitt. That's right. You talk about a guy taking the elevator up to greatness. Sam Levitt, of course, the four-star quarterback out of Oregon in Michigan State's 2023 class, is shooting up recruiting rankings for one of these sites, whether you get your rankings from 24/7 Sports, whether you get them from Rivals, or On3. And you might really like On3 now because they have rated Sam Levitt as the number 76 rated player in the country in their newest rankings shuffle. They actually have him as the number 7 ranked quarterback in the country, which means that he is the highest ranked incoming quarterback recruit for any Big Ten school in the 2023 cycle. How does that sound? That's right. No, Michigan doesn't have a higher ranked quarterback. No, Ohio State doesn't. Not Penn State. Not any other school. It's Sam Levitt, the Gatorade Oregon Player of the Year, coming to Michigan State as the number 7 ranked quarterback in the class per On3. On3, also to round things out, has Michigan State with the number 22 rated class in the country with 9 4-star players that will play. And really quick, too, to get you out of the door with some other recruiting news before getting to hockey, Davi Belfort. That's right, 2024 quarterback prospect Davi Belfort drops his top 3 and says he will be committing, quote, soon. Now, whether soon is at the end of the month? Is it in March? I have no idea, but he is down to his final 3 schools, and it is, well, of course, Michigan State. You probably could have guessed that. Also, Texas A&M and Virginia Tech as well. And this is from Rivals. This is from Ryan Wright of Rivals.com. He got the quotes from Davi Belfort, and I'll give a little bit right here, not the whole quote, but it says, quote, I love Michigan State. I have such a great relationship with Coach Jay Johnson. I've been up there a couple times over the past few months. I love the staff. I love Coach Mel Tucker, and I think they're building great things there. So there you have it. Could be a 3rd straight year with a 4-star quarterback commit. Not bad. Caden Hauser, all right, in 2022. Sam Levitt in 2023. And Davi Belfort can make it 3 in a row in 2024. So, look, say what you will about Jay Johnson, some of his play calling this season, but this man could possibly be a dynamite quarterback recruiter. And I say possibly very loosely. It's already confirmed for me, but for the haters out there, yeah, this would absolutely solidify it even for them. So, hey, there you go. Keep your eye on that. I know that Michigan State is definitely after him. So let's hopefully get it locked down here. We're going to get to some hockey chatter in a hot segment with Brad LaPlante of Spartans Illustrated. But first, need to talk your ear off about Built Bar. That's right, gang. If you are still powering through those New Year's resolutions of just, getting into shape or eating better, Built Bar is going to help you do both of those things, whether you're prepping for your workout, or just your day at the office, your day doing work around the house, whatever it is, they're going to get you feeling right. Because most Built Bars, hey, we're talking just 130 calories, just 4 grams of sugar, but yet a whopping 17 grams of protein. They're not going to have you feeling weighed down like other protein bars. They're going to pick your spirits and your energy up. And it's going to be doing so with great flavors like churro, peanut butter brownie, coconut almond, cookies and cream. They got it all, and they got it all for you, not just at Built.com, but also Walmart and Sam's Club. Yes, that's right. You don't just have to use the internet to get your hands and taste buds on Built Bars anymore. You can go to Walmart. You can go to Sam's Club. Just visit the pharmacy section, pick up a 4-bar box of cookies and cream, double chocolate, or coconut puffs. Or, hey, if you just like doing it the old-fashioned way of the internet, head to Built.com to stock up on your Built Bar. That's right. It is Michigan State hockey time, and Lord knows I ain't doing this solo. Hey, I like hockey. I like watching it. You want me to get in the X's and O's of it? No. That is a job for Brad LaPlante. He is of Spartans Illustrated, also the Red Cedar Recap podcast that he co-hosts with Sydney Paget. Brad, how on earth are you doing on this fantastic day?
Fortunately, it's cloudy, so another day in Michigan. I can't complain.
Okay. There we have, but a sunny day over the weekend was over Mun Ice Arena. You know what? Here's a high overview question right now, and to set it up, okay, we all know what happened this weekend. Michigan State 2 wins over top 5 Penn State, but going into this weekend, Brad, as you know, as any hockey head knows, ever since December started, it was not good. They had 7 losses and just 1 win going into the weekend against Penn State, but back-to-back wins, 1 in overtime, 1 in a shootout. Is everything solved in the world of Michigan State hockey, or what's your read on the whole season right now?
It's hard. So the way that I was talking about this with pretty much everyone was that everyone has PTSD, right? So anyone who's followed this team has PTSD from last season, right? You had Danton Cole, who wasn't doing great at the end of his tenure, but somehow I think that MSU can right the ship. I think that's Nightingales' sort of plan. His MO is that he can prove that he can. Everything isn't going to fall off. Just because of just the struggles that they've gone through. But yeah, I mean, a couple of the losses are fair too, because they played Minnesota, who might as well be the best team in the country, and then they played Michigan. Michigan, they won 1 against Michigan, so that was impressive. The 2 at the GLI, they should have won. I think the OSU series is really the only one where it was like, that sucks. But
Gotcha.
I think that the Penn State series was huge for getting back on the train, if you would say, but especially since in 2 weeks Michigan State plays Minnesota again, and I don't know that they can win those.
Sure, why not?
Well, yeah, I mean, sure, why not? Any team could beat any team, but that's just a tough thing
realistically
to do.
speaking. Yeah,
right,
no doubt.
Right.
Now, I got a question that's going to out me as the biggest casual, which everyone knows by now when it comes to hockey. Michigan State, I saw number 15 still in the hockey rankings that I read. Is that true? Is Michigan State really a top 15 team in the country, even with that rough stretch that they had? Is that the state of college hockey right now, or even that's going to get you in the upper echelon of the nation?
Sort of. I mean, it's tough because the USHO poll is sort of the akin to the AP in football, right? So okay. I mean, people disagree with that too. You know what I mean? So I think the more accurate way of looking at it is the pairwise rankings, which sort of are more, they equate more towards what looks for the actual tournament, right? They're more important for the actual tournament, and how that's decided. It's similar to what they do with like quad 1, quad 2 in like basketball. They sort of they rank who you've won against and who those teams have won against, and they sort of try. It's a formula that they come up with for that. And so, like, for example, the way that they weight overtime losses and overtime wins is different. That's why Michigan State went up, because 2 overtime wins, technically 1 was a shootout, but they're weighted as 2/3 of a win. Whereas Penn State, they didn't go down. In fact, they went from 4 to 3 during the weekend because I think someone dropped. And on top of that, a loss in overtime is weighted as 1/3 of a loss, if that you know what I mean. So it's not like they lost; they still did a pretty impressive job. So I think that's more a better representation of where MSU is. They're number 12 in the pairwise, and I don't know. I think that really they're close to a top 10 team.
See, this is why we have an expert on, a guy that actually knows what he's talking about when it comes to hockey, because that's a lot to explain. My head's kind of spinning right now. But hey, here's maybe just an easier question. This is for everyone. This is for the casuals. This is for the diehards. In your opinion, what have you liked the most about Adam Nightingale's first season? Is it just the style of play that you're seeing on the ice is really jumping out to you the most? Is it just the leadership going on in the program, or what really catches your eye the most here in year 1 of this?
Yeah, I mean, really, if you contrast it to last season, there's a different style of hockey, something that's a lot more modern. I think that any player will tell you that. I was talking with Nico Mueller one week, and he was telling me that just the style of play is a lot different, right? Like Danton Cole liked to play a very physical brand of hockey, but it seemed like and I'm not going to pretend like I am going to break down the X's and O's as much as a hockey coach can, but it was like Cole was being physical for the sake of being physical on the ice, to out.
Okay.
You saw that when they played Notre Dame last year, it was the only way that they could compete with them is by being physical or being the more physical team on the ice. Whereas Nightingale's playing with a faster brand of hockey. And so that really, I think, sticks out to me the most. He's also just, the players buy into what he's doing. I actually had a conversation with the NTDP U17 coach. I was actually doing a story unrelated with two MSU commits, and he was telling me though that just about the MSU program, and one of Nightingale's biggest strengths is his messaging. And every single thing that you hear Nightingale talk about, when it comes to playing winning hockey and just the message and the rhetoric that he spreads throughout the program, that is specifically, it's regurgitated with every single player. Every player is like, we're doing X, Y, and Z, just the same exact stuff that Nightingale talks about. And I think that's how you build a big culture here in East Lansing.
And who, as far as the players on the ice go, so far this season, who is the nucleus of the team? Kind of like how basketball is Tyson Walker, AJ Hogart. It's safe to say that they are the heartbeat of the team. May I suggest that it could be Jagger Joshua off his 4-goal weekend? I imagine he's part of that nucleus, and if so, who else is around him as well?
Yeah, it sort of, the scoring on the team sort of revolves around that top line. So you have Jagger Joshua, you have Carson Dorwart, you have Daniel Russell, right? So Russell's been playing, I believe, the right wing spot most of the time. Carson Dorwart center, and then Joshua on the left wing. But all three of them are in the top 4 in scoring. The third actually is Nico Mueller, who has 20 points. Jagger Joshua has 18. If you would have told me a year ago that Joshua would have 18 points this year, I wouldn't believe you, straight up. It was just, a lot of people will tell you that Jagger Joshua always had the talent, but I don't necessarily know that I ever believed it, because he's averaged 6 points coming into this year, and he already has 18. The season's not even done yet. So I guess that's sort of, that's to answer your question. Yeah, it's the top line of Dorwart, Russell, and Joshua, who this team sort of revolves around. But I think that everyone's been sort of instrumental. Cole Krieger had an insane game, in the Friday contest, where he had a 10-minute penalty, and then he comes back, he's the best player on the ice. You know what I mean? Just stuff like that, where every single player is sort of having their moment, and not one player stands out as though he's carrying the team every. And also, just to mention too, to go into your question, Dylan St. Cyr has been incredible as goaltender for this team. He is just making saves he was reminding me of Dominic Hasek out at, the college version of him. You know what I mean? It's just stuff like that. When St. Cyr makes those saves, I think that it gives this team a boost, and sometimes can act as a goal, sort of, in sort of momentum, and helps this team be motivated to score.
Gotcha. I love that 10-minute penalty and then play incredible hockey. That is the Jared Horst of hockey right there.
He comes back
like penalty and then plays amazing the rest of the game.
Yeah, he came back. He had an assist and a goal. Did nothing before that. Had an assist and the game winner in OT. That was just uncanny. Don't know how to explain it.
That's awesome. Most exciting player on the team in my book. That's great. And I would be remiss. I would be a clown, actually, if I had the recruiting analyst on from Spartans Illustrated and not ask about recruiting. So what is the state of recruiting? Did anything exciting happen in the last few days by any chance? And, well, how does MSU sit right now?
So, yeah, Michael D'Angelo committed from God, where is he at? He's at Green Bay, I think, he's on the Green Bay Gamblers in the USHL. So, he committed to the team. Honestly, I'm not going to lie, I haven't heard too much about him in the way of everything else. I know that just the prospects that I'm really focused in on right now is Christian Humphreys and the guys coming out of the NTDP. So, if you will, Trey Augustine comes to mind, who just had an insane season with the NTDP. I think he was at one point, if not right now, he's leading the leading the team at, well, save percentage, but he also, like, I think that's a record for, like, whatever his save percentage stat is or was, like, would be a record for the team, and, you know, will be or ever was. So also he had a pretty good performance in the World Junior Championships too. He earned a bronze medal. You know, I think that up until the loss to, was it Canada? He had only lost in the preliminary round. He actually was not in one game, and USA lost that game. So, you know what I mean? It's just he seemed like a very vital, like, #1 goalie on that team. And yeah, I'm pretty excited for him. He seems to be like, if he starts as a freshman, he could instantly become one of the best goaltenders in the Big Ten.
Okay, that plays with me. There we go. Someone that knows nothing about hockey like me can understand that. Yeah, that's sweet.
Yeah,
all right.
And there's also this, what is it, Maxim Strabak for he's from Slovakia, and so I don't know if you've heard too much about him, but he played on Slovakia's team. It wasn't until I think he's in the group that lost to Canada as well. But Maxim Strabak had, I think, a couple points, like a few points. I didn't pull up the stats before, so forgive me. But he had like, a couple. I won't want to say he was leading the World Juniors or anything, nothing like Connor Bedard was. But for a defenseman, like, yeah, he had a few points, and that's actually pretty impressive.
There you go. I mean, this has been an awesome chat, Brad. Can't thank you enough. But also, we're not going to let you get out the door here without plugging the podcast that you are on. What do you got going on over at Red Cedar Recap? Because it is more than hockey, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yeah, so most of our stuff revolves around, football, basketball. Sydney's great with basketball, actually. She likes to break that down. Occasionally, we'll usually have, like, Carter on. Carter Elliott does our basketball stuff. Ryan Oblenis is really good with breaking down all the football stuff. And yeah, I mean, we do hockey stuff as well. But at Spartans Illustrated specifically, we've actually started doing these location videos where they're like video podcasts almost. And basically, so like I'll go to a game, I'll recap the game. And, we'll have maybe a couple people with me. I'll do them with hockey. I just did one from the Breslin, so those are pretty cool. But yeah, just nice. Kind of just like to break down MSU sports, everything all the time.
Just bringing greatness to MSU podcasting. No shortage of us out there in the world. No doubt about that, Brad. But hey,
all right.
Thank you so much, man. Really can appreciate your time and especially your hockey knowledge enough, because my God, we do have an appetite for hockey here from the listener base, and it ain't gonna be me talking about it, because I will out myself as an idiot within 30 seconds. So that's why I have smart people like you on to help me hold my hand through the conversation. So thanks a lot, man. Really do appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
And hey, gang, until next time, tomorrow's show we will be breaking down the Rutgers versus MSU basketball game. We'll have some football stuff in the mix as well. Until then, enjoy the rest of your day. Love you all. Go Green.